Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. So, as always, everyone have an amazing day. 3 things I am thankful for: leaves, rocks, and fire hydrants. Okay. And I was at the house, they're cleaning off the roof. So I said I'll come outside. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, so I hope y'all have an amazing day. Amazing day. I was outside earlier after my son got on the bus. I sat on the porch for a second with my little coffee and, just looking around, looking at the trees and the grass and stuff, just being thankful, just being super thankful, like, oh my God, it's just so beautiful. Looking at how the leaves change colors and stuff. And what caught my attention is, let me see if I can make it. I know I'm in the street, right? Hold on a second, car coming. Let me let it do what it need to do. Okay. So, I'm not sure if y'all can see it this way, like the afro. But if you can look at the trees, I know the sun, it's not the best picture. Let me go down here a little ways. But I'm going to just put it like this. You notice how when the sun is rising, right? And how when it's in this type of season where like the leaves are starting to fall and stuff like that. And how it's dark at one point where you can see the original colors of the leaves. Hold on. Uh-oh, dead snake. It's too early. Oh, my bad, y'all. It was a snake on the ground that was ran over. But anywho, let me see. How can I show this in a way? All right, I'm gonna just do it like this. You see the colors, right? You see how the sun is on it? And how you can actually see the colors when they in the light. Another car coming. Give me a second. And let me turn this way. So look at the bottom area here, right? I cannot be a weather person. Hold on. You see the hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I'm really trying here. As you see how at the bottom where the sun doesn't shine, how it's green, but as soon as the light hit it, how it turns yellow. Okay. All right. I don't know how y'all be doing that with the green screen and all of that. My behind probably up there trying to touch everything. But anyway, back to my story. So I was sitting outside and I was noticing how when the sun is not hitting something, how green it is compared to when the light hits it, how you see the colors of it, how it changed. Ain't it amazing how something that is, how can I say it, green. So when you think of the color green, you think of strong. You think of something that is healthy, right? Right. Hold on a second. Another call. Give me a second. Okay. So when you look at green, you're thinking, oh my God, that's healthy, right? You're like, that's healthy. That's the way it's supposed to be. That means it's getting the nutrients and everything. Yes. In one sense, yes. But then you also see stuff like this, right? And you see it. So right here, you see how some of these leaves are, how can I say it? You see the sun is on it, but they red, right? A little bit redder, right? Let me go down a little bit more. Right here. Okay. A little bit redder, darker, right? So you see how the light is on it and how it's like, it looked like the leaves are burnt, right? Look like the leaves are burnt. These cars, oh my God, give me a second. It looked like the leaves are burnt. So you have three colors. You have the dark green, you have the yellow, and you have like the brown, like the brownish reddish color, right? And so in our world, our reality, again, green means strength, strong, durable, healthy, right? Spiritually, it's something totally different. Spiritually, it's totally different, okay? It's the opposite. And I know you're like, but how? How is it the opposite? Okay. So when something is green, right? So let's go back to leaves. It's on a tree, on a branch, right? When it's green, in reality, it shows strength. It shows that it's durable. But spiritually, it has not been matured yet, okay? It has not been mature yet. So reality, when the leaves turn to the point where when the sunlight hits it and it turns yellow, you think of death. You like, that tree is dying. Give me a second, y'all. Another vehicle. You would think the tree is dying. The leaves are dying. That's why they're falling off, because they're dying. Spiritually, no. When the leaves fall, it is showing that the leaves have finally picked up maturity enough to let go of the root to move forward in life. Because once the leaves fall, so you got two types. Give me a second, another car. So once the leaves fall, so this is strength, right? Look at it. You're like, that's healthy, right? Wow. I'm gonna hold it right there real quick. And then this leaf right here, you're like, oh my God, it's dying. That's what's happening. No, the leaf has learned that it has received its light. That's it. It learned that it can finally move on its own to become its own tree. It had to leave home in order to know that it can become something else. So this leaf, you're thinking, but it's a leaf. If that's the case, then we would have a billion different trees everywhere. Not really. Because guess what? It crumbles, right? It changes. It transfers. Guess what it becomes? Grass. It becomes grass. See, the leaf has an option of becoming grass or becoming another tree. When something is destroyed, in y'all way of looking, or falling or dying, it gets to become something else, right? Right. So when you go back to this leaf, you're like, but this is healthy though. That's not. It ain't been through enough to become something. It takes a lot for it to become something. See, in y'all way, a leaf, once it crumbles, is dead. But it's bursting into a million pieces. So think of a flashing light or a shooting star. It's just another shooting star that has to fall down to remember why it was growing in the first place to become something else. And then when you go back and you look at stuff like this, right? And you're saying, well, what about the stuff that never truly falls, that turn burnt? It's like that burnt looking color. It's because it gave up on itself. It's because the leaf didn't want to let go, to move on to something else, that it became too bright for itself. It became too bright for itself, that it gave up on becoming something else. So when you look at life and you're looking at, okay, how do I know when it's time to become something else? How do I know when it's time to be something else? You live your life. You allow your light to shine. And just remember, whenever things feel like it's crumbling, it's because it's teaching you how strong you really are compared to who you was at the beginning. Just because a person can have a picture perfect looking life and got all the money, got all the fame, or got everything going together, they haven't learned nothing. They still learning. Because once you build your heart up, then the sun knows how to shine on you the right way. But if you don't know how to build up yourself through the seasons, then how can you change? You can't change if you don't go through anything, because you got to remember how the process of growing really takes. You have to remember give me a second. You have to remember the process of how life goes. If you don't appreciate anything, you just stay the same. How many trees stay the same? They never change, because they thinking that they look good when they ain't sounding good, when they not acting good, and when they not being good. But because the outer appearance look like everything fine, just look at all the veins that is all the problems on the inside. But a person that is willing to go through life, go through the trials and tribulations of healing themselves, they understand that the crumble, that the breakage is not to break them, it's to help them to become better. It helps them to grow, to know that they can always come back home if they need to, meaning become a new tree or start a new foundation. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you rake up all the leaves, there's a part that's still left behind. I'm missing, can you see it? A missing piece. Sometimes puzzles, when you lose missing pieces in puzzles, it's not so much you losing a missing piece, it's reminding you where you came from. But if the world keeps telling you got to be always put together, that you always got to be in the right spot at the right time, then you always going to be stuck in the same place. Even a true puzzle has to be broken so someone else can understand it. Does that mean that you have to keep going through trials and tribulations? No. Because if you remember where all the pieces at, then you will never forget where you came from. So no matter if someone takes something from you, no matter if someone learns something from you, no matter if someone end up feeling like they are controlling you, as long as you remember where the missing pieces is at, then you know how to get back home. Because every level, you have to learn something new. That's what true growth is. But y'all don't want to realize it. So right now, look at this grass. Sitting in the same spot, right? Right? Somebody had to cut it, but the light was on it so much that it burned it. That's why you have dry areas. Because at the same time, you have to learn that you still got to cut the grass. You still got to allow the grass to be cut. Because guess what? If you don't cut the grass in, guess what? It's going to grow real tall. And then you can't even see yourself. But remember, what about grass? Well, grass the same is like the leaves. When you cut it, pieces fly everywhere else. So you still traveling to another foundation, another ground to learn something new. But if you don't allow yourself to cut the grass in your life, or allow yourself to fall from the tree, or allow yourself to be able to become something new, what is the purpose of life in the beginning? Your light never dims, but other people can still see it shining. So if you keep getting stuck in the same spot and don't want to allow yourself to grow, don't get mad when your light be stuck on the ground. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of people have a light and they've been stuck in the same spot because they want to be the same thing. Sometimes there are people in this world that may be your career that you have. You have fulfilled everything you're supposed to in that career. Now it's time to try something different. So maybe you was a doctor, now you want to be a lawyer. Maybe you was a teacher, now you want to be, a photographer. Now you was a rapper or a musician, artist, and now you want to be a teacher. And now you had a career. Now you want to have a family. You had a family, and now you want to have a career. You can have multiple transitions, puzzle pieces in one life. But don't waste it. Don't waste that light that you have. Don't waste that light you have and get burnt out. Yes, you can get burnt out to the point that you're amazing, know you have mastered something, know that you're doing amazing at something to the point that you don't even love it anymore, that you forgot how to grow. But I get it. You don't want to be vulnerable because you're too fragile in a new era. You're too fragile because at the end of the day, you remember the process of what it took for you to become the leaf in the first place, to become the light in the first place. And now you're on a new journey, a new path, and you're scared to go through the process all over again. But the beauty about it is, as long as you know how the process works, now you know what to avoid in the process. You know how to protect yourself in the process. You know how to handle yourself in the process because you know that it's all worth it. Don't allow yourself to get burnt out in something because you know how to master it. As long as you have breath in your body, continue to grow. The seeds will always be planted wherever you want to be. So if you find out that you went to something else and you didn't like it, that's cool. That's cool because you can come back to your main foundation or start somewhere else. Don't allow this world to trigger you to be stuck in one thing when you can be everything you want to be. But you got to work for it. There's that light that's falling down. That's that shooting star that's falling down. They have to realize, okay, I got up to the sky. Now I got to fall back down into something new because it's time for me to learn something else. Don't get so big and proud and boastful to the point you forget that you are the burst that started in the first place. Don't allow this outer appearance. Don't allow this outer situation to fool the gifts that's inside of you. It's plentiful. It's unlimited. You have all the resources around you. But if you so focused trying to look like green, don't get mad when the lights get cut off. On that note, y'all have a blessed day.